All right, friends. Today is a conversation. We are here with Mary McGonaglle, and Mary is an intuitive healer. So we're going to play in this. Um, I think I'll read your bio, Mary,
Yeah,
pieces
yeah.
of your bio. So welcome, and
You.
and thank you for being here. So I will just share with the audience your little bio. So, Mary is an intuitive healer and a feminine energy coach with a passion for guiding high achieving women towards breaking free from their own limitations and fully embracing their true essence, which this is what we do in human design too. So, as the founder of True Vibe, a compelling spiritual lifestyle brand, Mary is wholeheartedly devoted to helping individuals unlock their true potential. So, Mary stands out as an influential figure in the realm of intuition and feminine energy coaching. She is the host of Living Your True Vibe podcast. That's how her and I connected. Through her podcast, she inspires countless individuals to embrace their true essence and live authentically. One of Mary's greatest strengths lies in her ability to effortlessly guide her clients from a state of overthinking to a place of heartfelt clarity, allowing them to attract secure relationships and achieve significant growth in both their businesses and personal lives. So, in your spare time, it looks like you enjoy surfing and also shore walking. Yay. And being with your puppy dog. And her name is Emmy, is it? Or M?
Yeah, Emmy.
Awesome. Fun. So, welcome, Mary. I cannot wait to have this conversation with you. So, just prior to the podcast, we were kind of chatting about uh, Mary's process and her belief systems and moving through that kind of stuff. So, Mary, basically, I'm going to turn it over to you because I feel as though you have a lot to teach my audience around, letting go of some of that emotional baggage that we hold, right? That's holding us back, all those blockages. Human design is a beautiful uh, blueprint and map to that, but
Mm.
it's the how do I do it, right? So introducing different modalities or methods, and you have your own kind of method that you've created. I would
Mm.
love to hear about how you take a woman to sitting in that block to busting through that block and then achieving goals.
Yes. And first off, Leann, thank you so much for having me on your show. I just am really excited to be here. And for everyone listening, I know if you're drawn to this, you may be similar to me. I identify myself as a high achiever. I like to work on big projects. I have big goals and big dreams that I want to complete in this lifetime. So if you're drawn to this, then this is going to be for you. And so a lot of the times the types of women, and I do get every now and then, I call them the golden ticket male. They work with
Mm,
me. Uh
good.
and yeah, and I find that the women who I'm working with are very similar to me, where we have big goals, big dreams, and we've accomplished a lot, but you get to a certain point and you're feeling stuck. And I notice, and a lot of the people that are drawn to working with me, they are spiritual and they tried with different modalities and they're learning about what I am very big on teaching, which is feminine energy, but they're
Mm,
learning it from a way that what I believe is not true. And again, these are my beliefs, and I'm very strong in my beliefs. So you may resonate, you might not, and that's okay. A
yeah.
lot of these women who are go-getters, who have a lot of responsibilities, who might have families, who might be CEOs, have really jobs that they are leading, they are very in their masculine energy. And our
Mm,
masculine energy is our headspace, it's our logic, it's our taking action, which is a beautiful place. It's the doing. And these women are being taught, well, you need to shift into your feminine energy. And this is what's being taught, which is wrong. And this is, people are being taught, just take bubble baths, rest, journal. And while processes are helpful. If you're someone like me, you tell that to me, I'm going to say, fuck off. I am a
Right.
I can't rest. So for a long time, myself personally, Leann, I didn't want to step into my feminine energy. My ego said, I'm not doing that on purpose. Like, I want to prove you all wrong. I don't need to be in my feminine energy. And I find that the women I attract are the very same way. So how I guide the people who that are drawn to me and my energy is I say, and this is specifically for women, all humans, both male and female, we both have both energies.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit a different process if I'm guiding a man, but I'm just going to speak specifically to women. Um, Most of us, or what I say is, we need to be grounded in our masculine energy, have that rock, so we can then lead with our feminine energy, where the feminine energy is when you're in flow, you
Mm-hmm.
are moving from a heart-centered space. So therefore you realize that all the masculine stuff that you're doing, masculine, you are allowing yourself to feel that what you are doing is good enough. You're allowing yourself to feel, listen to my emphasis on these words, feel like you are worthy because you are being it. So feminine energy is about feeling and allowing yourself to express what's coming through and being in that. So that's a little bit about kind of that's about what I do and the people who I typically see.
I love it. So as my audience knows, like I am deep in human design. So I have Mary's chart up here. We don't have Mary's exact birth time yet. Hopefully we will have that for our next call. But I am watching her design and she has a totally open ego center.
Ooh.
So I love that you're bringing up that you're helping people tap into their heart. You're helping people tap into their self-worth because this was what you learned
Mm.
in your life to like how to do this, right? How to go from, this beautiful blend of masculine and feminine because I totally believe we need both. I 100% agree. And what I love is I've been connecting with a lot of males
Mm.
that, they recognize that that female energy, that feminine energy, I shouldn't say female,
Yes.
feminine energy is so important. And to be able to bring both of that to their fractal of people, to their males in their life, so that, you know, we can all live like through more clarity, like you say, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things too, I'll speak real quick for the men listening. I always say men, it's they are open to their feminine energy, meaning they're able to
Yeah.
cry and be vulnerable, but then they're leading with their masculine, which is so beautiful. But I think what you're getting at, Leanne, is uh and I work with a lot of women for relationships and their business. Most if you are desiring to attract a man who is going to lead, who's going to provide, who's going to protect you, men crave that because it's ingrained on a biological level in their body and how their
Mm-hmm.
body functions. And I even take it all the way back to evolutionary psychology based on, well, the caveman era and how we have evolved. So us women, our job as women is to receive. Our bodies
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
designed to receive. We receive so we can create life force. And I'm not even talking about babies, right? Because we can, and that is exactly it. But look at that. When you are in your feminine energy, you are receiving intuitive guidance into your body. And to put it back on where Leann was getting at with the relationships, if you are desiring, and it's going to look different for everyone, right? But if you are a woman who is desiring a healthy masculine man, a healthy masculine man craves a woman who can surrender. And the word surrender scares a lot of women, which it used to with me. Surrender to me means being able to receive and
Mm-hmm.
trust that everything is happening for you. But because you're empowered in the woman that you are able to speak up. You're able to communicate, have healthy boundaries. You're able to honor when you're not feeling okay about something and express that. So I can go on and on and on and on. I'm very passionate
Good.
about that, man. So I will stop
I can tell.
there.
I love it. And again, I'm looking at your design and I'm like, go, because this is exactly what you're designed to sell to people. This is exactly the wisdom that you're designed to bring to people, is that receptivity, right? To take that creative energy and just be receptive. We forget that as women, right?
Yeah.
We forget that. I'll share one of my beliefs is that I think that the feminist movement kind of
Yes.
ruined us,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It ruined us, right? Because
Yes.
we were told like go be a man. It's like
Yes.
hold on, right? I don't believe any of that. I think that we need men in our lives. I think we need that masculine energy. Yes, we both have both of them, but
Yes.
I don't feel that we should be, as women going out and trying to do it all,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we shouldn't. And our bodies are not made for doing it all. And I
No.
love you said that's what you believe, Leanne, because I'm 100%. The society goes, oh, be a strong, independent woman. Don't need a man. And if you, and that, I used to be Miss freaking independent over here, and I still am. And I love that quality and trait
Yep.
about myself because that's the beautiful process with working with your masculine feminine energy. It's not about letting go. I was scared. I'm like, I don't want to become lazy. Like I love being
Right.
a go-getter.
Yes.
And but I was there right there with you. If this is bringing up something for you, I was Miss Independent. And where did that leave me? That left me to feeling burnout. That left
Mm-hmm.
me to feeling so alone, to depression, to having suicidal thoughts, to developing eating disorders. So see how my body is processing that. And when I was able to really discover why I'm this way. And this comes through deep healing work, which I do with my clients. And I have a 3-phase system. And phase number 1 is the RS method, the release and surrender method, where we're diving into the energetics of how you've gotten to where you are right now. So we're looking at the beliefs that you created based off when you were a child. So we're doing inner child healing. We're understanding, okay, what did I make this mean? We're looking at what you were taught based off of your parental figures, your mother, your father, whoever was your caregiver at that time. And we're opening up so we can then release the baggage, the garbage of these beliefs that aren't ours. One quick share was I've really been working on getting to the next level of unlocking my feminine energy because it's a process. I still go through
Mm-hmm.
myself where I'm not feeling a couple weeks ago, I was not feeling good enough in my business and feeling like an imposter. But when those moments happen, it's beautiful. It's normal. So I was really reflecting a lot on my mom and how she grew up and her mom, because her mom was so hard on her, and that gets passed down. And so it's it's a really beautiful process when you get to actually understand that a lot of the energy and the emotion that you're carrying, it's deep and it's not actually yours. And then you get to shape what becomes yours, which is where I go into my second phase, which is the magic wand system, where I say it's
Mm.
giving a magic wand because you've done the healing work, which is phase 1, and then you step into phase 2, which is identity work. The reason why, if you're saying mantras, I'm a firm believer that if you are saying, okay, well, I've tried mantras, I'm doing the mantras, mantras aren't enough. Mantras aren't enough because until you release what you've been holding on to, the mantras are just trying to put a band-aid on when you're not cleansing and clearing a wound. But then when you get to identity work, mantras are not healing work, they're identity work. When you get to identity work and you've created space in your subconscious mind, in your energetic field, you're feeling it in your physical body, then you can start to put in mantras. But in my magic wand system, we're doing identity work where you are literally waving a magic wand, thinking about who do I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
becoming that.
Yep. Love it. So I would love permission to just share your chart because I think it's so fun.
Please do
Are
it.
you okay with that?
I don't really like human design is like one of the things I really don't know anything about. So please do.
I just want to share because like I love how it's funny because in my mentorship we talk about, I love human design because human design is working, the mechanics are working.
Yeah,
And so I'm just going to point out a couple things because
please.
I just think it's so fun, right?
I love
So
it.
I love that what you're doing is you're helping people release, the mother father energy, the stuff that was going on in the past, of course, because that is Jupiter saying, you know what? The laws say that we need to change these patterns. And you've created your own system, right? Your own 3-step method to help people like walk through a structure or walk through a
Yeah.
space, practice
Yep.
it, right?
Yep.
And second phase, identity. This is open for you. So you are learning, what are we identifying with? And why are we identifying with all of those patterns and things that are probably not correct for us,
Yes.
right? And phase three,
Phase
tell me a
three.
little bit more about phase three.
Yes. Phase three is the magnetic attraction blueprint. So this is when you are leading with your feminine energy, you are magnetic. You are drawing in things to you, but you're grounded in your masculine. So you're able to take action on that. So it's all about energetic alignment. And I'm very big on balance, given I am a Libra sun and moon. So I am the scale. So, and it's all about having those tangible steps, right? Masculine energy to then allow the feminine energy to be magnetic out. So that's the third and final phase of my process.
I love this. Okay. So, oh, I love it. So the magnetism in human design, we look at it through the second gate, which is all about higher self, but it is the most receptive. It is the feminine energy, period.
Oh,
So it's not defined in your body graph, but that's what you've learned. And that's what you're here to teach people. Okay. Now, I love it. Or like, how do I want to say it? You've learned it. So now you're bringing it into your teaching. And
yeah.
then the masculine energy, this first gate, this is the full masculine energy. And really it is creative. It's definitely creative. It's the creative self-expression, but it's moving us up into taking action. Okay. So again, going back to that whole magnetic piece, of course, that's what your process is called because anything in the openness is what
Mm,
you learn. So anything that's white in the human design body graph, you learn all that, and then you come and you teach your particular way of how to move through it,
so
and that's
cool.
why people are attracted to you.
Wow. Oh, I love that. Thank you. So are you telling me my process is so in alignment with
Yep,
my human design?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. Totally. And, I look at this totally open ego center, heart center. And this is like that whole aspect of you talking about like self-worth, right? So it's foundational because you have the capacity when it's totally open, Mary, you have the capacity to uh, reflect cleanly to your clientele, to your women.
Yeah.
Here's your level of self-worth.
Yes.
So it's not a judgment, right? You're not judging them. You're just
Yeah.
cleanly reflecting back totally objectively and saying, this is where you are in your self worth journey.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And I love that you said that because one of the things as my coaching journey and being a healer is I can see people's blocks immediately. But part of it is sensing, okay, how direct can I be to this person? Because see, we've all done this, right? Your parents could tell you something till you're blue in the face and you're not going to listen. And then you're like, oh my God. So I have a beautiful gift where I'm able to sense, okay, how direct can I be with this person and how and maybe closed off they are so I can guide them and navigate them to it a little bit. I have two examples of this that recently happened. I was on a retreat and I was talking to this man who is a very successful business owner, owns multiple 7-figure businesses. And
Mm.
and he's giving me some business advice, which was amazing. And
Good.
and then I'm helping him with some relationship stuff. And I'm
Mm.
trying to I'm being very intuitive in my process, and it wasn't landing. So I was just direct, and I was saying, hey, you are attracting women based off of what you shared with me about your parents. You are attracting women that you can provide for. Because his dad wasn't in his life. And
Mm.
I was
Mm.
like, these women are attracting basically replications of your mom, and you're trying to fulfill that father role that you didn't receive into these relationships. And he's like, oh my gosh. And normally I'm not that blunt because it doesn't usually work with people, but I could tell he's very like, I could tell his personality. Versus the other day I was working with a new client, trying to get her to see where I had her compare. She's very loves she really loves I don't want to say his name because if some people are listening to this, they might actually know who she is. She loves this public figure, this man,
Mm.
loves him. And I was identifying, I was seeing some intuitively some patterns. And then
Mm.
I was like, this is going to be a weird question. Trust this process. And I said, what are the comparisons between this public figure and your dad? And she's like, well, actually, they're nothing at all at like. And I'm like, boom, and I haven't told her yet, but I'm guiding her to see that she is trying to fulfill that father relationship through this public figure. So
Mm.
that's the
Mm.
balance in me, because I'm able to sense how closed off people are, but guide them there, or see how open, and take them there. And of course, I always share, and this is important, Leann, for your listeners, because I'm not the expert of your life. I could say that, and that might not resonate, and that's okay. I am not the expert. I am not going, if I share things and it resonates with you, amazing. And when I shared that message with that guy and it resonated immediately, he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, tell me why. Why is this your truth? So this is important for your listeners, because when you get into this healing work, people will try to tell you, oh, this is what's wrong with you. You got to do that. And it's important to understand does this resonate with me? And then ask, why does this resonate with you? Because that is your power, and that's how you heal from your own empowered place, not a healer, a coach telling you, quote unquote, what's wrong with you.
I would totally agree. And I love it. You're a 1-3. So you can see, what's not working. A third line is designed to see that, right? But
Wow.
it's not about like, oh, I'm going to go in and tell you what's wrong. I'm going to just point out, do you notice that this
Yeah.
is what's not working, right?
Yeah.
Do you notice that? And then people can then go on their own path, right? I love it. Love it.
I love that you're making the connection with the human design, because I don't really, like I said, I don't know anything about human design. I'm like, yes, that's it though.
It is totally it. I love it. I love it. So if you were to just walk us through your 3-part process, like what kind of time period would people be looking at to work with you? Do they work one-on-one? Do they work in a group?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Yeah, so clients, I do one-on-one and group coaching.
Mm.
My
Okay.
coaching program is called Let Love In, and it's about getting out of your head, getting into your heart, stepping into your feminine energy, because that's coming from our heart space. So, and both process, I use the 3-step process if whether you're doing one-on-one or whether you're doing group. I absolutely love group, especially because when you are doing this work, you realize, oh my gosh, Sally is sharing about this experience that she had with her mom and made her feel this way. And like that just brought up a memory for me. And when you're around other people who are healing, you heal. And just like listening to this podcast, you're able to heal and grow. So the time frame is 6 months, because I'm a firm believer that you can't rush the process. I am right there with you, where we want instant gratification.
Yeah.
We want the answers. Why? And uh, and but it is a process, and it's the most magical, beautiful process. And I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh my gosh, it's going to be all rainbows and sunshine. No,
Mm-mm.
because if it is, you're not getting to the root. You're not getting to the surface, and that shit's going to come up and up and up until you have something, a catastrophe that the universe and God is going to make you slow down. So what I do with my clients is I say, like, it's like a bow and arrow. We're pulling you back, but most of us are scared to be back here, but that's okay. That's why you have support. And it's actually a really beautiful place to be back here, because then you're going to find when you release and you let go of what has been stored in your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, your spiritual body, when you let go of all that shit and you surrender, what happens to that bow and arrow? Flies forward. So a lot of us are afraid to be pulled back. But that's where the beautiful stuff happens, where we get to look at the soil. We get to see what weeds are in the soil. We get to see what plants that are in the soil, that maybe the soil is in a spot where there's only shade and these plants need sunshine. So to me, I get excited about it, because a lot of us and these high, these high achievers that I work with, and I know if you're listening to this, you're a high achiever. I know my ego oftentimes was like, oh, I worked through this. I recently worked through some money blocks and sales blocks of, oh, if people, because I raise my prices, and it's, oh, if people pay me, then I'm taking. And I'm like, I through this block already. But it's a beautiful process that you get to navigate through. And when you first clear out maybe some of the things that are weighing you down, and then you get to a point in your life where it's really subtle shifts. It could have been something someone said to you in the 5th grade of, why are you wearing that top? It's ugly. And as a high achiever, that is in your subconscious mind because you made that something about you. And now you're afraid to show up to your fullest expression and wear and speak and do what you want because of that comment. So yeah, it's a beautiful, so it's to circle back to your question, Leann. It's over time. It's about riding Leann mentioned at the beginning of this call. I surf, riding the highs, riding the lows, falling off, but getting back on, because when you take that wave and you ride all the way down the line, you are going to be having the time of your life.
Yes. I love it. Love it. And you're a manifesting generator. So am I. 1-3. I'm also a 1-3. You and I want to move so fast. We're like, no, we're going to conquer this like in 2 days. Yes, we got it. Right. And then we learn, no, it's a process. It took us however many years to, store all these blocks.
Yes.
So it's not like 2 days can remove them. So I'm going to go back to our conversation before I pressed record. And we were talking about modalities like EFT, hypnosis, and I got your perspective on it, which opened up my eyes a little bit around, like why, like there's a space for those modalities, but why the work that you do lays the foundation before those two processes and modalities can actually make a difference. So can you share your perspective on that?
Yes, I love that. When we got on the call, Leann's like, oh, so you do EFT and hypnosis. And I'm like, yes, those are, and she's like, I can't wait to ask you about them. And I'm like, well, I'm an honest person, so I got to be honest with you. They're not my favorite modalities. And she's like, oh, why? And this is my belief system. So take if this resonates, leave it if it doesn't. My belief system, because I've seen this with myself and I've seen this with clients, is if you are doing, I'll explore both modalities because they're a little bit different in the healing process. If you're doing hypnosis, if I was to do hypnosis for those money blocks that I was experiencing, that I feel guilty taking, I wouldn't have gotten to that deep subconscious block. I wouldn't have made that into my awareness, because hypnosis is almost it's rewiring, it's implementing a new belief. But for me, and I've seen this in my own life and also clients, for me, I have to make space for that. And it, to me, would just be putting on a Band-Aid that you haven't cleaned the wound. So hypnosis is, for me at least, because I've seen it different for people who have one hypnosis session and they're like, I'm making millions of dollars. And I'm like, good. Yeah. Like, yes, but that doesn't work for me.
Right.
So that's what I believe, where hypnosis I could use that with a client in my phase 2, the magic wand
Right.
system, and it'd be
Right.
very transformational. And then EFT tapping, I was telling Leann, EFT tapping for me, I'm not using that as a healing modality. I'm not using that as to rewire, change your energy, which it can be used that way. I will use EFT tapping as uh, a tool to, it's like, say you haven't drank water all day long and your body's like, I'm thirsty. I will use EFT tapping as a way to quench my thirst, so to speak. Days
Mm-hmm.
ago, I recently injured my knee pretty badly, and and I've been in a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort, and I can sense it in my body. And I actually have been doing EFT tapping to just ground me back to my body, and it's been so beautiful. But I was sharing with Leann, if you're ready to quantum leap, I would not recommend EFT tapping to get you there. I would first look into the work that I do, which is what are the beliefs and the energetics behind it, and how is this manifesting in your life, so then you can change that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. And again, you're 1-3. It's all about the foundational work, right? It's all about that first line. Like you and I have no other choice but to tap into that foundational work so that we can go up and experiment and play with things like hypnosis, EFT, but it all begins with that foundational work so that we can see exactly what is in there, what's back there, what are those road bumps, right? Got it. Love it. I think it's so beautiful when design just it's working through you and I can tell that you have done, and you are continuing to do the work on yourself.
Thank
And the
you.
more that we clean out our condition, the human design just shows up, right?
Mm,
It just like because it's always there because it's our innate energy. And then as we remove those layers and those blocks and all that, for lack of a better word, shit that gets piled up in there, once we get all that out of the way, that design just is available to people, right?
yes.
It's available to you, it's available to those that you need to teach, and it just, yeah, it's so beautiful. So
Thank you.
share a little bit about what you learned from your injury that
Oh
you
my
just
goodness.
had. I
So,
love
so much. So I don't know when this episode here is coming out, but actually once we get done recording this, Leann, I'm gonna be putting an episode on my podcast that actually is going to air tomorrow about
Okay.
this experience, but I'll give you a quick rundown. I was at a retreat, a spiritual entrepreneur retreat in Mexico, where we focused on healing our mental body, our emotional body, our physical body, our spiritual body. So that's why I said thank you, Leann, for noticing that I put in the work, because that
Yeah.
is so important. And the second day there, I was walking back with a woman who I became friends with, and it was nighttime, and I was on this wooden path, and I fell in the path, and yeah, and there was a there was a plank missing on the path, and I got stuck in this yeah, I was stuck in this path, this hole. I was trying to maneuver for at least 30 seconds, and my friend Devin, who I was with, she's trying to help me, and I move my leg, and we see I have it's to give you a little bit of contents, 3 layers of stitches deep.
Oh,
So we see this giant gash in my leg, and she immediately takes action, gets help. I get my leg out, and long story, traumatic story short, I am okay. And through this process, so day 1 of that retreat, that was day 2. Day 1, and I was Devin, actually, she was guiding a Reiki meditation, and in this meditation, I received because I've been feeling stuck in my business. I've been having one of those moments as entrepreneurs where you're like,
yeah.
maybe I'll just give up and get a 9 to 5. It's
Yeah,
normal. It's normal, no
it
matter
is
what
normal.
level you're at. Because
Yeah.
like business is great right now, but I'm like, maybe I'll just
Hmm.
throw it all away. And I've been feeling
Yep.
stuck on this retreat. Day 1 in this, I get an intuitive download, Mary. You are running. from your success. You are running from that next level. You are afraid of it. You're afraid to receive the love, the joy, the abundance, all of it. So this retreat, this blessing, this, and now I have a giant scar. It hasn't even been a week yet, guys, as we're recording this, but I have a giant scar. So I'm curious to see how it's going to look. But it has taught me the most beautiful gift, because I got to receive, I went through a journey where, and right, feminine, this is why I do what I do, because I've been there. I went through a journey where I was so in my masculine, didn't ask for help. Then I shifted to being able to speak up, ask for help. And now in this journey, I get to just receive without having to ask. And it's a loving thing. So this lesson, this lesson was really a blessing, because I was able to feel that next level of love that I was running from. The universe, God literally put me in a ditch so I couldn't run. I was able to feel that next level of care, of joy, all that energy that I was afraid of. And I was able to welcome it in. And it really has, this experience taught me so much about who I am, because everyone's like, you stayed so calm. I don't know how you did this. And you have to be calm in those moments. You have to be able to, and that's why doing this work and you're listening to this is, it literally is life-saving. So it was a beautiful, beautiful gift. And I'm really grateful that I'll be able to share more about this experience.
I love it. Beautiful. Yeah. Isn't it so like we can fall victim to those situations if
Yes.
we haven't done the work?
Yes, we can
Or
we
we
can
can receive the gift, right?
yes, because listen, y'all, if you don't know by now, I'm a deep person. I'm like, let's see what's freaking in the soil. So it's so important, because I'm very big on not emotionally bypassing, because I think a lot of times when we are going through challenging things, you can sense when someone's not okay, like, oh my God,
Mhm.
it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And it's like, but is it
Right.
fine? And so
Yeah.
throughout this process, I allowed myself to be in the emotions. If I woke up and I was in pain,
Mm.
I let myself be in that pain. And also another lesson that I learned through this was I don't need to know. I don't need to know why this is happening. The day after, another beautiful woman, she, love her. She was like, "Oh, what do you think the lesson was in this?" And I was like, "The lesson is to surrender. I don't need to question and know right now. Allow it to unfold." So I allowed myself to be in those emotions. We did on the retreat. We did this process. Well, this the guy was leading and he was talking about shame, and we had to write down things we were shameful
Mhm.
for, and he was going to put it in a bowl of water so it would all drown out. And as I'm writing, and this was the day after I injured myself, as I'm writing, I broke out sobbing, almost hyperventilating. And this is a room full of 50 people. It's silent because everyone's writing, and I'm just sobbing. But it was so beautiful to feel so deeply that shame that was stored in my body and get that out. Because when you then release that, then you can really see how this is happening for you, not to you. So I am very big on not emotionally bypassing, because a lot of
Mm.
us are afraid to experience sadness, uh, guilt, shame. Oh my God, that shame that I released, that was in my body, but I am so grateful. So very big on that, because then you can truly be embodied. And then when I say embody, that means being in your body. That means knowing to the core who you are, that I am someone who can endure, who can persevere, who can not give up when things get challenging.
Okay, I gotta do it. I gotta share your chart again because here we
Yeah,
are.
I want to
You
see
know,
how is this all connected with the human design. Let's go. Let's go, Leann.
I love it. So, of course, here we are. The emotional center is undefined in your body graph. So, what does that mean? That means that you are learning
Mm.
how shame can hold you back, how all these emotions can hold you back. And what are you teaching? What I totally love. Again, here we are, head center.
Mm.
So, this is all about inspiration, but your physical body actually is grounded in this aspect of the unknown.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Whoa.
yeah, I know. Hey, and for you to indicate to this woman, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is right now. It'll reveal itself or not, whatever. You'll have your breakthrough in your own timing. And
Yes.
that really is the magic of how you are designed to surrender, because your laws are telling you, hey, guess what? This unknown space will reveal itself when it is willing to reveal itself, when you're ready, and you can have the breakthroughs that you need to at that time. But
Mm,
when you just sit in that capacity to feel those low density, I don't even know if I want to call them low density or what emotions,
yeah.
but shame and guilt and all of that stuff, poof, you're gonna be inspired exactly like you are to do a podcast and talk about the
Mm,
healing. And
mm,
what I can really appreciate is the fact that you're like, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this scar, because the
yeah.
body will, like, you know, it might leave a little reminder there or it might not. It might just totally heal her, right? So it all depends. Yeah.
Yes, I love that you said that because this morning my friend who I surf with, he's a ER doctor and he's been amazing checking on me, walking my dog in the morning. And
Aw.
yeah, and he looked at it and he's like, "You might not even get a scar." And it's so funny because everyone keeps like again and so also before I tell the story, sidetrack, my intention for this retreat night one, Leann, we all went around 50 of us said your intention. I said my intention is to surrender into the unknown.
I love it.
So
Love it.
and I was really trying to practice that. Like day one, we had a yoga class. I was talking to the yoga teacher. I wanted to be like, oh, well, because I also teach yoga and I wanted to be like, oh, what kind of yoga do you teach? And I'm like, no, don't just be, just be, just be, just be. So when the and everybody keeps telling me, oh my God, you're gonna have such a badass scar. You'll have such a great story to tell behind the scar. And like I haven't been thinking about having a scar until this morning. My friend, the ER doctor, he was like, you might not even have a scar. And I just didn't think anything of it. I'm just so neutral about this experience, which sounds crazy to old Mary, and it might sound crazy to you. But listen, y'all, like I am overwhelmed with love. I am overwhelmed with, and it's because, like Leann pointed out in my chart, when I sit in that shame and I sit in those feelings. So I love that this is all connecting. So thank you so much for your
Mhm.
beautiful wisdom on this chart. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense why I'm like, I can't do hypnosis and change my life. I have to
Right?
sit in the
Yes.
shame.
Yes.
But it's, yeah, because I sat in that and have felt the pain and I'm still continuing to do so. Like even this morning, I woke up and I started to cry because I was in pain and I allowed myself to feel the pain. And then I do this a lot with clients, and this is a tip for your listeners, is to ask yourself in the moment, what do I need? Mary,
Mm.
what do I need? And in that moment when I was crying, my body just says, my body said, Mary, and this is the first thought. Don't overthink this. Whatever comes in your head, whatever you see, whatever you feel, my body said, I just need compassion. So I took a moment, spoke to my body, I said, you are so strong,
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful. I see Leann's like connecting. She's like, I'm gonna human design connect this all for you. And then I felt calm, I felt safe. And then I put on Kelly Clarkson, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger. And I'm dancing from my chair. I can't dance. And I felt amazing.
Beautiful. I love it. I can hear your channel of transformation as you walk through it, your ambition, your capacity to hold that space for people, your ability to see those challenging moments and really create a process for people so that they can identify differently. And really, your charisma is absolutely magical.
Thank you.
So, you know, this is what I would say is congratulations on doing the work,
Thank
on
you.
getting all of these centers, cleaned out so that this body graph can really shine into the world.
Thank you.
That is what truly is important. Um, yeah, I think it's just magical.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that because it has been such a process. I know everything is about to take off for me. I'm claiming it. I'm owning it because it has been a really the last 6 years have been deep, deep, deep cleaning. And
Yeah.
really when you that's why my brand is True Vibe. When you connect, I say life isn't all good vibes, right? We're not emotionally bypassing. When you can connect, when you can connect to who you truly are on a vibrational level,
Mm.
that's when you can endure the tough times and appreciate the good times, the good vibes. And so I am really grateful that you mentioned that, Leann, because I just know that every when things like this, it's just bit when the challenges occur, it's almost like it's getting lighter in a way where old Mary would
Mm.
be like, why is this happening to me? Oh my God, what's the spiritual meaning of almost dying? Like
Yeah.
we're just sitting in the unknown and um the beautiful mystery of what comes through.
Yeah. And really, the magic of the body to
Yeah.
take a gash that's, like you say, 3 layers deep, right? You're not just surface level here. We're talking you went deep. Well, that's a huge metaphor for what you're doing right now. And
Close.
really, yeah, like showing your people, showing this audience, showing yourself, you know what? I can heal three
Yeah.
layers deep by just
Ooh.
allowing, right?
Thank you for
Love it.
that. Thank you for
You're very
recognizing that. I appreciate that. I needed to hear that because, as I'm still processing this and that I really believe, yeah, I am I know I am a walking example of the
welcome.
people that I'm also supposed to guide. And so I really appreciate you mentioning that.
I love it. I love it. And I get the visual of it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like literally stuck, right? Like you were literally stuck and it was safe,
Literally
right?
stuck. And just to, if you guys want to hear the full story, definitely go check
Yes.
out my podcast,
Yes.
The Live Your True Vibe. I think I'm gonna make the name. I'm actually recording after this. I think I'm gonna make the name Getting Attacked in a Mexican Jungle because it sounds cooler than Hey, I fell in a ditch. That's my personality. But because
Yeah.
also it was at night and they had to first Devin had to run back to the common area to get help, and then they had to figure out they saw the gash, wrapped up their shirts around me. Then they had to I'm hearing them through all this process. They had to they're like, go get a folding table. We'll pull her on the folding table. There's like 7 guys lifting me up on the folding table, carrying me through the jungle to the car to then drive 30 minutes on a dirt road to then another 30 minutes to get to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was but I had really profound experiences. And one tip I will share with you, because when I saw how bad my leg was, my mind goes, holy shit, Mary, that's your body. And I had a panic attack. So I had a water bottle and I dumped my water bottle on
Mm.
my head and my body to shock me. And that felt good. And then when they were carrying me, I put my hands, I'm so in tune with my body. My body's like, put your hands on your
Mhm.
ears because there's so much chaos. It's gonna freak you out. Close your eyes. And
Mm.
that in that moment, that's when I had the most profound, life-changing
Mm.
experience that I'm gonna share on my podcast. I'm not gonna give it away here.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
go listen to that if you feel guided to this story because it will change your life. It changed my life, and I can't wait to even scratch the surface. So I can't wait to see how much it opens up. And my intention through this experience is that anyone who is feeling drawn and guided to what I've experienced, that this is going to shift them. This is going to shift you in to really wherever you've been feeling stuck, lonely,
Hmm.
sad, depressed, shame, wherever you've been feeling that, but you're going through it for a reason, for a purpose. This is going to help you open up to what that purpose looks like and but not need to know. So stay tuned.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. So as we wrap up here, Mary, and I totally highly recommend everybody go over there, check out the podcast because that podcast will be out definitely by the time this
For sure.
interview comes.
It's coming out
So
tomorrow on
there
record.
you go.
So yeah.
Perfect. So definitely go on to Living Your True Vibe and check it out. So in closing, are there any words of wisdom that you would leave for the audience today to
Mm,
just help them, recognize that number one, um, you're not alone. We
yeah.
are all in trauma. Like the entire world went through trauma over the last 4 years. Like we just do this, right? Um, so really, what would you say in a tiny little soundbite to help
Yeah.
people recognize
Yeah, I
that
love
they're
this
not
question, Leann. So we
yeah.
talked a lot about going deep and feeling the feels, and I want to invite you to explore feeling the joy, feeling
Mm,
tapping into that self-expression because throughout this process, I was in so much gratitude and love, and I couldn't hold myself back from speaking it to the people around me. And just, I would hear myself what I was saying to them. I'm like, I love you because you bring the light. And I was just straight channeling to people. And old Mary would maybe hold back that love. So, where in your life are you holding back your love? Where in your life are you holding back your joy out of
mm,
fear? And maybe that fear is it's not being received. Maybe that's fear of being scared, you might be rejected, but that joy, that love is inside of you. So where are you holding back and where can you tap into that? That might be through, like I said today, I put on some music and I'm singing what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So let that come through because when you do this deep healing work, and a lot of us can get stuck and really feeling the feels and really can get stuck in these emotions, literally like me. It's important to welcome in that joy and express just for today. How can you express your joy, your love a little bit more?
mm. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
Well,
you.
Mary, it has been a joy. Thank you for letting me play in your human design while we walk through this. Again, I will do a caveat. We don't have your exact time, but you know what? I think it's good. I think it's awesome. I feel as though um, the alignment process for you is is well on its way because you're sharing it. Your design is speaking so deeply through you. So congratulations on that. So if anybody here is wondering, human design is one tool, is one tool. Doing the emotional work with Mary, that is the foundation because that really is so important for us to clean out all of that stuff so that your design can express itself. So thank you again, Mary. And if there's any comments, any questions, all Mary's information is going to be in the description as well. And you can go to the podcast, you can go to our website and connect with Mary and really go deep yourself.
Thank you, Leanne. I really truly appreciate you and this beautiful space. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary.